Welcome to Redbeard Radio. I'm Brian Keith, and today we're talking about growing on Twitter. We have back Samy, the founder of Hypefury. He was up here on episode 133 back in 2022, how to make money faster on Twitter with Hypefury. Today, we are diving into IfixHearts. That's the Twitter account of Dr. Philip Ovadia and one that I manage. When I started working with Dr. Ovadia, we had 1,400 followers, 1,400 followers. We now have over 56,000 followers, and Hypefury was a primary tool we used to make that happen. So we're going to talk today about Twitter growth, about how Twitter relates to other things in your business, what kinds of content you can get put onto Twitter, all that kind of thing. Samy, welcome back to Redbeard Radio.
Thanks for having me.
Now, we were just laughing before this call because neither you nor I focus on our own Twitter accounts. We spend our time growing other people's Twitter accounts. And that just seems to be a common theme here. So my Twitter account as of this moment is 1,500 and whatever, because I put all my time into Dr. Ovadia's Twitter account. I'm curious, Samy, how often do you find Twitter consultants have really good accounts themselves versus how many of them are sort of, let's call it stealth like me, where our own accounts are weak and sad, but our client accounts are doing great?
Yeah, just a matter of what do you gain from it? I don't have much to gain. I don't have anything personal to sell beside Hypefury, but we have our own account that we actually grow through. Hypefury itself, I think we grew it to 60,000 or 50 something at this point. Yeah.
Great. So let's talk about what we're doing with IfixHearts and some of the ways I'm using Hypefury. And I'd love to hear about either what am I not doing that I should be doing, or what am I doing that you've heard or you've seen work well for other people. So the first thing we did is we had a podcast, the Stay Off My Operating Table podcast, and we took pieces of that and we just took little video segments of that and we put those into their own categories in Hypefury, so they just endlessly are shared again and again. We did the same thing in the individual quotes, and I'm actually going to read you guys. We have so many categories. I'm just going to read you all these categories. So everything I'm about to read you, this has content in it that we've put in there. And in some cases, it's 2 years old at this point, but it just keeps on getting reposted. So we have podcasts that Dr. Vade has appeared on. We have things that Phil himself has said. We have just text format. Then we have things Phil has said that are in some kind of artwork, like inside an image. We have quotes from Phil on his podcast. We have appearances, or we have quote cards from the book. So Dr. Ovadia got his book written by Joshua Lysick, and we have some content directly from the book. We have testimonials from Amazon about Phil's book. We have a bunch of live streams Phil has done. We have only a handful of direct sales pitches, which is, hey, go here to give me money. We have a bunch of old threads that we've written. We have a bunch of YouTube snippets. We have another team member who's making content on YouTube, little YouTube shorts. Then we're putting that over in Hypefury. We have testimonials for courses. We have excerpts from some of the big snippets or the big interviews we've done, like with Pompliano. And then we have video snippets from our own podcast. So within what I just said, we have something like 600 or so posts that are being recycled through every week. And then what I do on top of that, and what Phil does, is we're in there responding to people. And sometimes if we write something that goes pretty well, I'll go look at all the responses and then I'll respond to each one, but I'll put them inside Hypefury as a quote tweet, but schedule it for later. And that way I can go in, and spending an hour of ghostwriting, I can create half a week to a week's worth of content of Phil responding to people, because it's just in Hypefury. And that way now, throughout the day, like 8 or 10 times per day, people will see Phil responding to someone. So that's a lot of what we're doing with Hypefury. What of that, Samy, are you seeing other people do, and what am I missing?
Man, I'm really impressed. I think you're one of the very rare who use that feature as much as they should. Most of the people don't use it at all or very little.
Really?
Yeah. And you said that you sit down and write content, but at some point you could just leave your account fully automated with only recurrent posts, doing the work for you, because you probably have plenty of content. And on Twitter, when you post a tweet, most your followers don't see it. So you can afford to post the same thing not over and over again, but spaced out by few weeks, So that's completely fine. And yeah, you could even stop writing new content on those accounts and leave the recurrent posts going out and yeah, do their job.
What's critical for us is that we have content coming from other people on the team. So we have a VA who, whenever Phil appears on a podcast, the VA grabs quotes from that. And we have a podcast producer who runs Phil's podcast. And when those episodes come out, we have another person. So Phil doesn't have to personally do anything. And new content from ways he's already creating new content, other team members put it in Hypefury so that the principal, the owner of the company, if he did not log into Twitter for the next month, it would be irrelevant. And new stuff is still getting posted, as well as all the old stuff getting recycled.
Yeah, that's the right way to do it. Recycle content, create new content from old ones. Like you said, extract quotes from podcasts, YouTube interviews. You could extract excerpts from YouTube and post them on Twitter and do it the other way around, like create small videos like YouTube shorts, TikToks, Instagram reels out of tweets, whether where you actually speak yourself or your client or just generated ones. By the way, we're having new features coming for Instagram reels and TikToks and YouTube shorts where, well, you can either schedule actual reels or shorts, or we can generate reels from you out of your tweets. So you have these tweets that actually appear and there's a voice reading them. And the voices are getting more and more realistic, thanks to all the new AI improvements that are happening.
That's great. Another thing we're doing with Hypefury is when we launched a bunch of courses, I wanted to soft launch them and just make sure everything worked properly. And so instead of emailing the whole email list, I just put them up as auto plugs. And so, every 10th tweet that does well, you get another tweet that shows up a few hours later and says, "Hey, do you want to get better sleep? Here's Dr. Avadi's course on sleep." And that way, we've managed to go get a whole bunch of our Twitter followers onto our email list via buying courses. And we've also managed to do this with our quiz, which we have over 23,000 people have taken our metabolic health quiz now, largely marketed through Twitter.
Yeah, and you could also use category specific auto plugs. So let's say you have a
Oh, yeah, we've not even touched that yet.
Yeah, well, I think you should. For example, let's say you sell fitness courses and nutrition courses. Well, you could have a category for fitness, category for nutrition, and have auto plugs for like a weight loss program on nutrition tweets and like a training program on fitness tweets.
Yeah. The way we need to do that is I need to do this just enough to train the team how to do it because we have so many hundreds of tweets in our current posts. I need to go categorize those and then have like everything that's in the cholesterol category, let's say, that needs to always see the auto plug at the category level for the course we have on cholesterol. Whereas any tweet that has to do with heart attacks needs to have the auto plug for heart attacks, for our course on how to recover from a heart attack.
Yeah, an easy way to do that is go to your history page, type heart attack or cholesterol, and then tag all the results in that specific category.
I love it. That's great.
Actually, it would be interesting if we add like a feature that allows you to automatically categorize your tweets. That would be cool. Writing this down.
Yeah, I sometimes have, 5 or 10 different auto plugs going across the whole account as I'm advertising, let's say, 8 different courses plus 2 different lead magnets, and they're just popping up randomly. Another thing I do is we recently launched the Ditch the Sugar Challenge, which is a 21-day challenge helping you get off sugar. And we did also do email launch stuff, but we did a lot of stuff on Twitter where for about a month beforehand, we launched a poll almost every day asking people at different aspects of their experience with sugar. And then all the ones that did well, which in our case, doing well is getting at least a couple hundred votes, but sometimes a couple thousand. We had Dr. Ovadia record a video about them, and then that video went on Instagram as a story. And so we had our content going across various platforms, but then all of the content, all the auto plugs on Twitter during that time were all, "Hey, go join this thing." And then we also changed our banner and everything else on Twitter was all aligned towards, "Hey, go join this one thing." And then once the thing started, we let 3 or 4 days for folks to join in after it started. And then we just switched back to selling courses, selling other stuff. So we were able to go harvest a significant portion of our 56,000 person audience into the Ditch the Sugar Challenge using Hype Theory. And then we just went back to our normal programming.
Yeah. Another category that you could add is ask me anything. So you could post,
You know, that's a really good point. I've seen that, and we don't have one of those, but that sounds like a pretty good idea.
and it's an easy way to build engagement too.
So, for folks who've not been inside Hype Theory, you can just type things directly in there, and then you can either post them immediately or you can add them to be added in on your schedule later on. And so, what I'm doing right now, as we're talking, is I'm doing exactly what the founder of Hypefury told me to do. And I just posted, as we're talking, a little quick blurb, and it's going to go out later at some point, whenever we have that as next thing in our list. And then I could post that. I could have a category and I could post that once a week automatically. I could come up with a few different ways to say it and then just see what people respond. And then here's the thing, I don't have to have the principal actually reading those at all. I can just look at the answers that people give, and then I can go take a few of those that look like it would create really interesting content, maybe that which is already getting the most engagement. And that's the stuff I can have Phil go make videos for. Then those videos can get posted back to Twitter, YouTube Shorts, everywhere else. And so we can automate the gathering of questions. I love it. What other parts of Hype Fury am I maybe not using as well as I could?
Auto DMs. So that's a great way to sell actually. The DM campaigns, they work kind of like email campaigns. So for example, basic example could be you say, hey, if you want to get my free guide, my free weight loss guide, just reply to this tweet. And then all the people who reply would get a DM with a link to that guide. And before you give them the guide, you could collect email addresses, or actually you could choose not to. You could give the guide straight away, and then those people, you can put them in a specific list. You could have like fitness free guide list, and then you could do another campaign later on where basically you reach out, hey, did you download the guide? What did you do with it? Do you have any questions? And that could be like the starter conversation for like to sell your products.
There's so many things to do here. As I'm looking at just this one account that I spent a significant amount of time in, I'm thinking, oh man, there's a lot I got to get done here.
Yeah, you could run Gumroad sales if you have Gumroad, or it could be simply time-based sales. So it could be, hey, my product is on sale for the 4 next hours, and that's very efficient. It works really well. Hey, flash sale, 10 copies for like the price in the next 4 hours, and then Hypefury automatically like posts a countdown, and then once the sale is over, it deletes the tweets. So it's as if it never happened. And we do the same thing for Gumroad. If you have products on Gumroad, it does like a countdown. It could be either time based, so in next 4 hours, or it could be just quantity based, and so it's for next X products. And yeah, so Gumroad, we've been supporting Gumroad for a while, and soon we're gonna support Lemon Squeezy too.
That's great. I'm going to go drop my affiliate link on Twitter here in just a minute. For anybody who wants to go and try out Hype Theory, I'm Redbeard Brian on Twitter. This is one of the most important tools I've come across. I decided to start learning Twitter only a couple years ago. And really because I was seeing a lot of my colleagues who are Keep certified partners ignoring Twitter. And I thought, well, if everyone else is ignoring something, that might be a good thing to go get good at. And it's just a different market than Facebook is. But this tool, Hype Theory, I think everyone should be aware of it at least. Yeah. Samy, thank you for coming back on the show. Where can people find you if they want to go hear more from you?
Simply Twitter, Samy Dindane,
Love it.
or Hypefury. Hypefury on Twitter. That's good too. We also have a bunch of guides. We have Discord server, or just simply guides. Or when you join our email sequence, we give you daily tips about growing your Twitter account. So yeah, check out our Hypefury Twitter account, and you will find the link to join.
Wonderful. Thanks for being on the show again.
Thanks for having me.